Hello and welcome. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today we're going to be working on this iPad. Don't know how well you guys can see that. Pretty bad ding there. So I'm not able to press the button at all. Hopefully it's just going to be stuck underneath the housing and we'll be able to clear that out. They were able to use it using the little case because of the magnets. It's able to open and close the iPad, but without that, can't really unlock it. So let's go ahead and put it in the heating pad. We got it on the heating pad. So I got the iPad on there. Perfect fit all the way around. Meanwhile, we're gonna grab a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and some picks. Leave it on there for a couple minutes. Alright guys, unfortunately I got a little bit of a head start. I forgot to press record, but it's very important that you want to heat this thing up as good as you can, as safely as you can, because the adhesive around here is pretty tough. Do not pry up this screen aggressively. The moment you start feeling any type of tension, you want to go ahead and reheat. It's a little bit of a tedious process, but with a little bit of patience and perseverance, it can be done. I was using the heating pad. It was just taking way too long. See that? It should slide in there pretty smooth. You don't want to go in too deep. And I'm adding a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, just a little bit, not enough where it's going to go into the LCD, but enough to kind of help loosen up the adhesive here. We're going to go ahead and remove the screws holding the shield in to be able to disconnect the screen and the battery. You are now seeing me pull out the little shield that holds in the connectors for the screen. You want to make sure that you put your screws in an organized pattern. Hopefully you guys saw that, but I'm using a plastic pry tool to disconnect the connectors. You never want to go in there with anything metal because you can short circuit. Okay, we finally got the screen off. Takes a little bit of time because of all the adhesive, but with these iPad Pros, you're pretty much good here. There's no ribbons. You just want to make sure that the alcohol doesn't get up into the LCD. You don't want it to seep into there. And then this is kind of a little bit more trickier part here. You do have a little bit of a flex cable right here that you want to watch out for. A flex cable here. I generally just don't pry as deep. I just kind of wiggle my way around, even if I don't know, right? So we'll set this off to the side. I'm not going to go ahead and remove this now, but I am going to apply a little bit of isopropyl alcohol just so it can kind of help break down that glue for when it is time to remove it. Now, I'm going to disconnect the battery. Very carefully, we want to go ahead and set that off to the side. Remove the battery screw. By applying the plastic pick next to the connector instead of through the connector, you minimize the damage that you can cause to the pins and separates the board from the battery. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of this adhesive so it's not in the way. And this is where the damage is. Now you're seeing me remove the screw above the shield that holds in that connector next to the button. You have to be wary that there is a hidden screw at the top left. I'll see if I can attach a picture here. And make sure you take off that screw before attempting to pull out the button, as you can tear the flex cable. Again, you're seeing me use a plastic pry tool to go ahead and carefully remove these connectors. Right now we're going to find out whether it's going to be a physical issue with the button itself, or if it's something we can go ahead and just clear out that hole for the power button to freely move. In most cases, from what I found, the power button just simply stuck behind the housing. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pop it all the way out. And this here is your power button. More than likely we're just gonna have to clean out that area so the power button can freely move, and that's what we're hoping for. So we're gonna go ahead and hook up the screen here, making sure that all connections are connected before connecting the screen, except for the battery. The battery is always last. Oh man, does Apple make it fun to install these. Alrighty, looks like we got that hooked up. Alrighty, now this is going to be moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and press the power button and see if it works. And there it is. It's looking good. Power button looking good. And now we're going to go ahead and clean this area out. So now that we got the screen taken off, we got everything, the battery obviously disconnected. We're going to try to work in this area here. So we're going to do that by disconnecting this. We don't need to entirely remove it. What we're going to attempt to do here, finally clean out that area around the button and ensure that the button can go ahead and insert and get out. So we're going to use our rotary tool very lightly. We don't want to shave off too much, just very lightly. And we're going to do the same to the button here. Not sure how well you guys can tell. Power button there is a little deformed. So we're just going to go ahead and very lightly clean the area around it. Go ahead and reinsert this power button. Hopefully you guys can see that, but it looks like it's now beginning to move much more freely than what it was before. And that's what we want. At this point, we're going to be putting back the assembly holding in the power button in the reverse order that we took it out. I'm gonna grab some Q-tips. It is important that you leave the bezel around the frame very clean to prevent any bulging, to allow the replacement glass to sit flatly in the frame. I do not recommend using anything sharp around the battery. I've done this several times and it's the only reason I'm taking the risk. I understand and am safe with the blade. However, if you decide on doing this, do it at your own risk. You can also use a plastic spudger. We are going to now grab our screen. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a light clean. I want to leave this as clean as possible, and we're gonna remove whatever adhesive is already on it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and reattach the screen. To ensure that the screen doesn't get disconnected, we're going to go ahead and reapply the screen connector. That kind of helps hold down the screen itself. We are going to have to reconnect the battery. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and test it before we fully close it up. Power button seems to be working just fine. Screen seems to be working. Touch is working. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna set this up because it's gonna take some time, but home button's working. Power button's working. Volume button's working. And then we're gonna test out the charging port. Go ahead and turn my power bank on. charging, so everything seems to be working just fine. Let's go ahead and attach our shield. I like to make sure that it's clipped on before we start screwing. What you're seeing here is me applying some B7000 clear adhesive glue. This is going to help adhere the front panel to the frame. There's another glue similar called T7000, and you usually see me using this on cell phones. So we want to make sure that we apply it directly on and all around. Alright, gonna go ahead and throw that screen on there. Make sure it's seated in the frame really well. I'm gonna get a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, clean the tip of my glue, close it up. I'm gonna get a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and clean up any of the excess glue that we have around the screen. We'll make sure we leave this as clean as possible. Okay, now we're going to grab our clamps and begin to clamp the screen. Before I install the last one, I want to go ahead and show you guys. Screen's turning on. We'll set this off to the side, we'll let the glue cure, and then we'll phone the customer and let them know that the repair is ready. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you guys have any repairs like this or anything similar, please feel free to reach out. We'll have more information in the description box below. And hope you guys have a great day. Peace.